A small creature moves through the forest floor. It is hidden beneath giant trees, surrounded by sounds it does not understand. Above it, enormous shadows move between the branches. A world of giants. Creatures weighing several tons walk across the earth. Their footsteps reshape the ground beneath them. Their presence defines the planet. For millions of years, this world has belonged to them. The dinosaurs. But high above this ancient forest, something impossible is approaching. A piece of rock. Silent, invisible, unstoppable. And in a few moments, the future of every living creature on Earth will change forever. Most people think the dinosaurs disappeared because they were defeated, that they became outdated, that mammals eventually became smarter and replaced them. But that is not what happened. The dinosaurs did not lose a competition. They were interrupted. A massive asteroid struck Earth 66 million years ago, creating one of the most devastating events in the history of life. The impact triggered earthquakes, fires, climate changes, and the collapse of ecosystems that had existed for millions of years. The giants that ruled the planet vanished. But the most important consequence of this event was not what died. It was what survived. Before the asteroid, mammals were not the future. They were hiding. Small creatures living in the shadows of a world controlled by dinosaurs. They moved mostly at night. They avoided predators. They survived by staying unnoticed. They were not powerful. They were not dominant. They were simply waiting. And then, suddenly, the world changed. A door that had been closed for millions of years opened. The age of dinosaurs ended, and the age of mammals began. But here is the strange part. The asteroid did not create humans. It only created the possibility of humans. Evolution is not a journey with a destination. It does not move toward intelligence. It does not know that humans are coming. Life simply responds to the conditions around it. Change one event, and the entire story changes. The asteroid was not a step toward humanity. It was a random accident that happened to create a world where humanity could exist. So what if it never happened? What if that asteroid missed Earth? What if the dinosaurs continued walking across the planet for another 66 million years? The first thing we have to understand is this. The world would not simply be our planet with dinosaurs added back into it. It would be a completely different Earth, because evolution never stops. The dinosaurs alive today would not be the same creatures we see in museums. They would have changed, adapted, transformed, just like humans changed from our ancient ancestors. The Earth would likely still be dominated by dinosaurs, not because they were superior, but because they already occupied almost every major role in nature. Large predators, massive herbivores, fast hunters, flying creatures. Every ecosystem was built around them. Mammals would have remained competitors struggling for space. The path that eventually led to humans might never have opened. But over millions of years, dinosaurs would continue evolving. Some lineages might become smaller. Others might become more social. Some might develop more complex behaviors. And one possibility has fascinated scientists for decades. Could a dinosaur lineage have developed advanced intelligence? The answer is uncertain, but it reveals something important. Intelligence is not guaranteed by evolution. It is not the final reward of life. A creature does not become intelligent because it is destined to rule. It becomes intelligent only when that ability helps it survive. Humans often imagine intelligence as the greatest achievement of evolution. But intelligence is also a strange burden. It allows a species to understand the universe, to create art, to explore space. But it also allows a species to change the planet itself, to create weapons, to reshape ecosystems, to question its own existence. The same mind that allows us to discover the stars also allows us to wonder whether we belong among them. So imagine another Earth, a planet where dinosaurs never disappeared, a planet where forests stretch across continents untouched by human civilization, where massive creatures still dominate the landscape. And somewhere, perhaps after millions of years of evolution, another intelligent species begins looking toward the sky. They study the universe. They create tools. They ask questions. Questions like, how did we get here? Why does life exist? Was there ever another species before us? Perhaps they discover fossils buried deep beneath the ground, small creatures that once lived in a forgotten era, early mammals, animals that existed before their world changed forever. And maybe they wonder, what could these creatures have become? Because from their perspective, mammals would be the mysterious possibility, the lost future, the branch of evolution that almost happened. But there is another possibility. Maybe no dinosaur civilization would ever appear. Maybe Earth would simply remain a planet of giants, a world without cities, without technology, without a species looking back through time and asking these questions. And that possibility reveals something uncomfortable. Humans are not inevitable. We often look at evolution and assume everything was leading toward us. But the history of life is filled with paths that disappeared, species that almost became something extraordinary, futures that existed only as possibilities. The asteroid that ended the dinosaurs was not just a disaster. It was a turning point. One world ended. Another world began. The same event that destroyed one of Earth's greatest dynasties created the opportunity for a small group of unnoticed mammals to expand. And eventually, one of those mammals would look back and ask, "Why are we here?" Maybe the most fascinating part of this question is not imagining a world where dinosaurs survived. It is realizing that our world is only one version of reality. A slightly different asteroid, a slightly different moment, a slightly different survivor, and everything changes. The planet would still exist. Life would still continue. But the story would belong to someone else. For 4 billion years, Earth has been changing. Species rise, species disappear. Entire worlds are created and erased. And humanity has existed for only the smallest fraction of that history. We are not the conclusion of evolution. We are one unexpected chapter. A chapter made possible by an ancient collision between Earth and a piece of rock from space. The dinosaurs did not disappear to make room for us. They disappeared, and we happened to be what came next. But somewhere in the endless possibilities of the universe, there may be worlds where the asteroid never arrived. Worlds where giant footsteps still shake the ground. Worlds where another intelligence looks at the stars and wonders about the creatures that never got the chance to exist. Because the most terrifying question is not, what if dinosaurs survived? It is, how many other possible worlds disappeared before anyone was there to see them?